One is called direct evidence, the other is called it is legal for the president to try and he will
Today on Rappler, Senator Miriam Santiago reveals her choices for running mates in 2016. President Benigno Aquino turns over the draft of the Bangsamoro Basic Law to Congress for approval. And Apple releases bigger iPhones and a wearable digital watch. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago walks out of a Commission on Appointments or CA hearing for the appointment of ambassadors and foreign service officers. Santiago, who chairs the committee, adjourns the hearing after a heated debate with fellow CA member Congressman Rodolfo Fariñas over a quorum. Fariñas says he could not recommend any of the nominees, but Santiago insists she's been carrying out the same procedure and was never questioned before. Fariñas says a majority of the 18 committee members should be present. Santiago says the CA rules describe the quorum at a public hearing as the presence of the chair or vice chair or at least 3 members. She adds, as the chair, her presence is enough to declare a quorum. Shortly after she walks out, Senator Miriam Santiago talks to the media about the future. She says she expects to fully recover from lung cancer and is considering 3 options: running for president, joining the International Advisory Council of an NGO, or writing a book. She says reports on the pork barrel scam, the disbursement acceleration program, and the alleged overpriced Makati City Hall building convinced her to run for president in 2016. Santiago eyes Senator Grace Poe, Davao City Vice Mayor Rodrigo Duterte, and former Defense Secretary Gilbert Chodoro as possible running mates. She says Duterte in particular would make, in her words, an excellent VP for enforcement. She adds, maybe we can have 2 women running together, president and vice president. Maybe it's Miriam and Grace. It sounds like a restaurant, right? Santiago will make her final decision in December, saying it depends on her doctors. She says 80% of her cancer tumor has disappeared. Santiago ran for president in 1992 but lost to Fidel Ramos. President Benigno Aquino submits the proposed law creating a new autonomous government in Mindanao to Congress Wednesday. In a ceremony, Aquino personally hands over the Bangsamoro Basic Law draft to Senate President Frank Drilon and Speaker Sonny Belmonte. The Bangsamoro bill provides a legal framework for the final peace accord signed by the government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, or MILF, last March. The bill comes after 17 years of negotiations and seeks to end 4 decades of conflict in Mindanao. Chief MILF negotiator Mohamed Iqbal says he's confident the creation of a new autonomous government would be enough to curtail radicalization in Mindanao. The crafting of the law marks the next stage of the peace process, opening discussions to public scrutiny. The House formed an ad hoc committee to fast-track deliberations on the bill. Belmonte and Drilon aim to pass the bill by March 2015. A Canadian Islamic preacher linked to international terrorists is detained in Davao City, awaiting deportation. Police invited Dr. Abu Amina Bilal Phillips, known as Bilal Phillips, for questioning on Sunday following a security advisory against him. He's at the regional police headquarters in Davao while his deportation's being processed. Police say Phillips is a security threat and is banned from 6 countries, including the U.S. and Australia, for alleged links to radical organizations. It's not clear when Phillips first entered the Philippines, but he was supposed to give a lecture in Zamboanga City on September 5 and 6. Intelligence documents obtained by Rappler say he's closely identified with Mohammed Jamal Khalifa, the late brother-in-law of Al-Qaeda's leader Osama bin Laden. Phillips reportedly visited Cotabato City and planned to build an Islamic center in Maguindanao when Khalifa was in the Philippines. While Phillips has long denied any terrorist connections, he was secretly indicted in the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center and deported from the United States in 1994. On his Facebook page, which has close to 2 million followers, Phillips is described as a former Christian who converted to Islam in 1972. His Facebook page also claims he taught at the Islamic Studies Department of Sharif Kabunsuan Islamic University in Cotabato City. The Philippine Navy confirms it is monitoring structures resembling lighthouses in the West Philippine or the South China Sea. On Tuesday, Navy Chief Vice Admiral Jesus Milan said the structures were seen in the Cannon or Hughes and Mabini or Johnson reefs. The Philippines previously filed protests against China's earlier reclamation activities in both reefs. The Philippine military also earlier expressed concerns that China's building a military base on Mabini Reef. Defense Secretary Voltaire Gasmin says the dispute with China over the South China Sea is the Philippines' biggest security concern. Something's brewing in a province south of Metro Manila. Coffee makes its way into basic education. How is this possible? Pia Ranada reports.
The smell of roasting coffee beans fills the coffee lab of Café de Lipa in Batangas. It's just another day for 20-year-old Vladimir, who now works for the coffee shop. He is one of the first graduates of the Lipa Coffee Academy.
Simula sa pagkabuto hanggang sa pag-process hanggang pagtitimpla ng kape. Alam po yung paano yung katangian ng kape, alam po kung anong tamang timpla, kung anong karakteristik na kape ang gagawin ko halimbawa sa latte, kung anong gagamitin.
He can tell the difference between varieties of coffee in the Philippines, but one is close to his heart.
Yung popular dito sa Batangas, yung barako. Kung makikita niyo po sa itsura niya, itsura pa lang, pinakamalaking beans sa lahat. Tapos sa lasa naman po, pinaka matapang, tapos more on aroma, mabango.
The Coffee Academy is part of the pilot K-12 program of the Pinagtong-Ulan National High School in Lipa. It is offered to grade 11 and 12 students. The first Barako coffee tree was planted by a Franciscan friar in the 1700s in this village. But an infestation of coffee rust crippled Lipa's growing Barako coffee industry.
Dito itinanim yung unang puno ng kape. So ibig sabihin, dito rin dapat matayo yung unang-unang The Lipa Coffee Academy. So now, kailangan nating i-revive and bring back the lost glory of kape, which is kapeng barako.
During the first semester, the students learn basic food and beverage servicing skills, such as waitressing. For the second semester, they will be off to the nearby coffee plantation, where students learn how to take care of coffee trees and harvest beans. Café de Lipa owner Joe Mercado loves to share his passion for coffee farming to the students at his farm.
Ako pagka tinanong ako ng what is your occupation? Ako farmer and then saka yung businessman. Kasi kahit na papaano, I'm proud to be a farmer. Kasi diyan ako nagkapera eh. Ini-encourage ko yung mga bata na pumunta sa farming.
For these students, mostly children of farmers, it's a way to upgrade their livelihood.
Para pong magkakaroon na po kami ng yung magkakaroon po kami ng gawaan ng kape. Ganun lang po kasi ang gusto ko, magkaroon po kami ng negosyo na about sa coffee. Kaya po gusto ko po dito gumraduate.
Back in Café de Lipa, the Coffee Academy graduates whip up their barista skills, earning a living from Lipa coffee and promoting it to anyone who walks in. Pia Ranada, Rappler, Lipa.
The Fijian government on Wednesday says efforts to release 45 Fijian peacekeepers captured by Syrian al-Nusra Front rebels on August 27 continue. The Fijian government's team in New York is actively working on the safe release of the troops. Prior to this, Fiji's information ministry posted on its Facebook page, Fijian troops will soon be released, but government spokesman Dan Gavidi says, in his words, someone has misinterpreted. The hostage Fijians are part of the UN Disengagement Observer Force, or UNDOF. It was established in 1974 to maintain the ceasefire between Syria and Israel for Israeli forces in the Golan and oversee the implementation of a disengagement agreement. The peacekeepers were captured as Syrian troops and Islamist rebels battled close to the armistice line with Israel in the Golan Heights. A group of 75 Filipino peacekeepers were also attacked by the Islamist fighters, but avoided capture. Scotland prepares for a referendum for independence on September 18th. What are the issues confronting the 300-year-old union? Well, here's a quick look. First, oil and gas. 85% of known reserves in the area are in what would be Scottish waters, but the British government's expected to assert control. Second, sharing debt and currency. A key economic question will be how to share Britain's $1.4 trillion or $2.3 billion debt. Will Scotland continue to use the pound? Third, a constitution. The Scottish government also said it wants a convention bringing together businesses, civil society, and trade unions to come up with a written constitution that includes a ban on nuclear weapons. Fourth, borders. The issue is complex as Scotland's plan to ease immigration rules might trigger the rest of Britain to set up barriers and checks. Fifth, keeping the monarchy. SNP says it wants the new Scotland to be a constitutional monarchy with Queen Elizabeth II as its sovereign, much like Australia, Canada, and the rest of Commonwealth nations. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 4, the United Nations on Tuesday warned of surging carbon dioxide levels boosting greenhouse gases in the atmosphere to a new high. In its annual report, the UN's World Meteorological Organization, or WMO, said concentrations of carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide all broke records in 2013. WMO head Michael Gerard said an alarm bell is ringing. At number 5, as countries all over the globe observe World Suicide Prevention Day Wednesday, psychiatrists stress the need to dispel myths about suicide and use media to help those vulnerable. The World Health Organization says over 800,000 people die by suicide each year around the world. Psychiatrist Ria Concepcion cautions against simplifying the underlying causes of suicide and adds there are many factors that lead to a decision to take one's own life. And at number 9, rock legend U2 surprises Apple fans and music lovers worldwide after releasing latest album Songs of Innocence for free during Apple's launch event Tuesday in San Francisco or early Wednesday Manila time. Apple says it sent out the album to almost 500 million iTunes customers around the world at no cost. Apple CEO Tim Cook describes the move as, quote, the largest album release of all time. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. More on the Apple event. The tech giant announces 2 new models of its popular iPhone line of smartphones and a wearable digital watch. The iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus are bigger and thinner than the current iPhone 5S models and have several feature upgrades, including the use of curved sapphire crystal, longer battery life, and the new iOS 8 software. The keynote also introduces the Apple Watch, a comprehensive health and lifestyle device that integrates with the iPhone. Apple CEO Tim Cook claims the Apple Watch is the most personal device we've ever created. His words. The Apple Watch will be available in early 2015. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page. That crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that have affected our readers and our viewers the most emotionally. If you take a look, these 10 stories have gotten the most number of votes on their mood meter. Not surprisingly, Apple reveals the iPhone 6, iPhone 6 Plus. You have 56% happy, but interestingly enough, also you have this 4% angry. That red bringing out the color of this cluster here. Story that's gotten the most number of votes in the last 24 hours is this COA. Yolanda Fund donations did not reach victims. It certainly made a lot of people angry. 96% angry. That red bringing out the mood of the day. Today, most people are angry. That is Rappler's Newscast for today, Wednesday, September 10, 2014. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.
One is called direct evidence, the other is called it is illegal for the president